Do you want Damian Lillard to be a Heatle come October in 2023 when the NBA season kicks off? Well, Adam Silver gave me a call over the 4th of July holiday and told me if the Heat Report gets 500 likes on their next video, Damian Lillard will be a Heatle, so make sure you hit that like button. Welcome into the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Nic Rohloff, and on today's show, the Blazers are reportedly willing to wait on a Damian Lillard trade. They are in no rush, and we have a Bleacher Report trade idea for Damian Lillard, which is pretty bad. We'll get to that and my trade idea in a little bit, but this is the social put out by Bleacher Report over the last couple days that said the Blazers are in no rush to trade Dame to Miami. Woj had the report, and as I've been saying over the past 2 or 3 days, you cannot trust Woj when it comes to reporting on the Damian Lillard trade saga, and it's because he is in the pockets of the Blazers front office. We know this. Every time Adrian Wojnarowski reports on the Damian Lillard trade situation, it is always through the lens of Portland, or it's saying Miami is not in the driver's seat. Miami might not get Damian Lillard. They are only saying that to Woj so he can report that to potentially drive up the price point of the Heat's trade package and also potentially convince other teams to jump in and offer a better package than the Miami Heat. But I don't think anyone's buying the Portland Trail Blazers bluff, and this is just going to be an ongoing week or two negotiations between the Miami Heat and the Blazers for Damian Lillard. And that is why you subscribe to the Heat Report. I mentioned this might go on for a week, 2 weeks, hell, even 3 weeks between negotiations of the Heat and Portland Trail Blazers, and we'll keep you updated on all the Heat Damian Lillard trade rumors. So make sure you hit that sub button. A lot of people joined us from yesterday's video, so I appreciate you guys joining on the channel, and we'll keep you updated and informed on everything Miami Heat as we keep on going in this NBA offseason. And I'll continue to say this, but Damian Lillard will be traded to the Miami Heat. I don't think that's even a question. Blazers are just playing hardball, which I understand. It's their second, first, whatever you want to call him, best player of all time. They're going to need to get something in return for Damian Lillard, and the Heat have probably been lowballing them to start off. It only makes sense to lowball them when Damian Lillard only wants to play for the Miami Heat. And Marc J. Spears reiterated that with a report yesterday. This is what he had to say. Dame wants to play for Miami and only Miami. I've been continually told since Saturday. I'm told there are over 5 teams interested in a potential multi-team trade that could get it done. Won't be today or tomorrow or perhaps even in the next day, but I believe he's going to Miami. And this is kind of my point back to the Woj reporting situation. Everyone but Woj is reporting it is only Miami. If you remember, Woj is the one who had the report that said the Spurs couldn't be involved, with Ramona Shelburne, of course. The Clippers could be involved. Don't be surprised if the Celtics jump in. Like, Woj is the one reporting that there's multiple teams. Meanwhile, Chris Haynes, Spears, Windhorse, and Shams are all saying it's only the Miami Heat. So I'm not really buying into the fact that Woj has the sources. It's literally just coming from Portland, and that is why it really is going to be only Miami. Woj is the only reporter that has said anyone other than Miami. So unfortunately, my St. Bonaventure alum partner, I'm not believing you on any of your reports when it comes to the Miami Heat trading for Damian Lillard, or I should say not being in the driver's seat, as Woj has reported a couple times. Now, Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald did back up what Spears said, and I wanted to double down and really drive this force home for you guys. He said, as we and Spears, Shams, and Sam Amick of The Athletic have repeatedly reported, it's only Miami for Dame, period. No thought to expanding the list. Portland at some point will need to accept a big mess or make a big mess with the best player in franchise history. And that's really another good point in this situation. If Portland doesn't want to trade Dame to Miami because they won't get the best package, sure, they can elect to try not to do that, but they will have a horrible reputation down the line, and stars will be reluctant to go play in Portland because of how they treated Damian Lillard in his finals days and in his send-off. And Shams also said this morning. He said no team will want to take on the possibility of adding a disgruntled superstar to their mix, which is another reason why I think it's only the Miami Heat. And because if you really think about it, why would a team trade all of their trade assets for a player on a massive contract, getting paid $60 million a year in 4 years, and he doesn't want to play there and could request a trade a year later, it doesn't make any sense. And I don't think teams are going all in for that Damian Lillard package when he doesn't even want to play there. Now, they did mention 5 teams that could jump in this potential 3-team deal, and I am going to take a stab at what I think the 5 teams are. I think we know the Brooklyn Nets and San Antonio Spurs are definitely 2 of the potential 5 teams. Now, the other 3 teams could be anyone. The 3 teams that I think it could be is the Houston Rockets, the Indiana Pacers, and Oklahoma City Thunder. The Heat and Thunder have a pretty decent relationship when it comes to making trades, and I think the Thunder would be able to help the Heat out here by acquiring some salary or maybe moving around a pick or 2 because of how many picks the Thunder do have. They've made a lot of trades in the past, Victor Oladipo, a lot of just mid-level minor trades. So I think the Thunder could be involved. The Pacers could be an interesting team to look on when it comes to like acquiring Duncan Robinson if he were to be moved to a 3rd team, because the Pacers could use some shooting off the bench. And the Rockets, I think, could be another fit for Tyler Herro potentially being in that backcourt. Maybe they just have cap space, which is why I think they could take on a player or 2. But the fit really for Tyler Herro isn't there. And that's why I still think the best bet is the Spurs or Nets. The Nets seem the most likely, as I've said over the past 2 or 3 videos on Damian Lillard. But I still think the Spurs are the best fit to acquire Tyler Herro and make it work. I think Spurs with Tyler Herro, Keldon Johnson, Vassell, Sohan, and Victor Wembanyama, that'd be a really solid young core from the build on. So I think the Spurs would be the best team to take him on, but the Nets are the most likely. Now, I'll ask you this. Tyler Herro is a main sticking point in this deal because the Blazers don't want him. So who is going to take Herro in a potential 3-team deal? Let me know what team Tyler Herro will be on in 2023. Let me know in the comments section. Now we have a Bleacher Report trade idea that would go from Miami to Portland. And I think it's honestly one of the worst trade packages you could ever see. And I'll tell you a couple reasons why, but here is the package. The Heat would be receiving Damian Lillard and Jusuf Nurkic, so that's a lot of salary coming to Miami. And the Heat would be sending Tyler Herro, Kyle Lowry, Jaime Jaquez, a 2027 first-round pick, and then 3 first-round pick swaps in 26, 28, and 29. And I'm going to be honest, this trade idea sucks. And there's a couple reasons why it sucks. 1, the Heat are not trading Tyler Herro to the Portland Trailblazers. 2, they are also not taking on Jusuf Nurkic's contract. It doesn't make any sense. Why would they take on Nurkic to be a backup center with a 3-year, $54 million deal? It doesn't make too much sense. Also, the Blazers only get 1 true first-round pick out of this in 2027 and then get pick swaps in 26, 28, and 29, which I'm willing to bet that would never convey because I'm pretty sure the Heat would have a potential better record than them then. Now, there is a chance in 28, 29, Jimmy retires, Dame retires, it's Bam Adebayo and whatever this roster is, and the Heat maybe do struggle more than the Trailblazers. But at least in 26 and 27, those picks should be in the mid-20s. So this is my kind of take. Tyler Herro is not going to the Blazers. Any trade that isn't a 3-team deal is just bad. It's wrong, and it won't happen. I'm willing to put my life savings on it. I'm willing to put my reputation on it. This will be a multi-team deal. It will not just be the Blazers and Heat going back and forth. There will be a 3rd team involved. You know what's not a bad idea, and it doesn't suck? Buying a Miami Heat sweatshirt from Fanatics right now. It is our sponsor for today's show, and I got cooked up with a great deal for you guys. This sweatshirt right here, this is not a typo on the bottom. It is truly $40 off. It is normally $85, but if you use our link, chatsports.com/Heat sweatshirt, it is $45 for you right now. I know it's hot down in Miami. Might not be a time to wear it now, but you can get it on sale right now and stash it for when the season comes around in October, November, and it gets a little bit cooler. Don't miss out on a great deal at Fanatics. I'll say it one more time, chatsports.com/Heat sweatshirt. Now, I have a trade idea for you guys, and it's a massive 3-team deal that the money works, the picks make sense, and I kind of am all in on this trade idea, right? So the Heat get Damian Lillard and Ben Simmons. We talked about him yesterday. We'll talk about him a little bit more in a second. The Blazers get Kyle Lowry, Caleb Martin, Haywood Highsmith, 2 first-round picks from the Miami Heat in 2027, 2030, both unprotected, and then a 2025 first-round pick from the Brooklyn Nets, but is actually coming from Phoenix. So that pick would be Phoenix going to Portland. And the Nets receive Tyler Herro, Duncan Robinson, and a second-round pick from Portland. And to me, this makes sense, and it absolutely gets this done. I think the Blazers get 3 first-round picks. That's very fair. They move off Lowry or Damian Lillard. Finally, the Band-Aid's ripped off. You also get a couple expiring contracts in Haywood Highsmith, Kyle Lowry, and you get a really solid role player on one of the best contracts in the NBA with Caleb Martin. And on the net side of things, you get Tyler Herro to slide into that backcourt. Now you've got a core 4 of Herro, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, and then you add Duncan Robinson. And after they shipped off I wouldn't say shipped off, but lost Seth Curry, they needed more shooting coming off the bench. Duncan Robinson would absolutely be able to be their shooter coming off the bench, and it could be a dynamic team that is getting built in Brooklyn. But the main piece that I want to talk about is the Heat acquiring Ben Simmons as well in this deal. We know what Damian Lillard brings to the table, but what could Ben Simmons do for the Miami Heat? Averaged 7 points a game, 6.3 rebounds, 6.1 assists, shot 56% from the field in 42 games during this past season. And one number I did want to mention, he is not a three-point shooter. We know he doesn't shoot. He barely shoots when he's got 5 feet away from the basket. He will not shoot three-pointers, so the spacing could get a little dicey with if Bam, Jimmy, and Ben Simmons' front court was on the same court at the same time. But this dude is an elite defender, and you've seen it throughout his entire career. He didn't play in 21 and 22 because he had a back injury and he held out a little bit. But in 2020 and 2019, he was pretty solid. I mean, 16 points a game, 7.8 rebounds, 8 assists, and shooting 58% from the field. Those were when he was at his prime, playing really well with Jimmy Butler. Or excuse me, that was the year after Jimmy left. But with Joel Embiid, they look like a dynamic duo. Now, he started to regress a little bit in 2020, 21, and then obviously with the injury and the holdout, traded to Brooklyn, and then didn't do much for the Nets this past season. But I'll be honest, I'm taking him on to get Damian Lillard. I know the stats aren't pretty, and he's been a little bit of a headache the past 2 seasons, and he's got no jump shot, but he is an elite defender. A Simmons, Bam, Jimmy front court would be the best defensive front court in the NBA. You've got Jimmy on the wings, Bam Adebayo, who's the best defensive player in the world, and Ben Simmons, who's an all-NBA caliber defender when he's right. Now, the one hiccup in potentially acquiring Ben Simmons is that he's got a $40 million contract over the next 2 years, so he is going to be paid pretty well, and the Heat would be entering a massive tax situation. But moving Haywood Highsmith, Caleb Martin, Herro, Duncan, and Lowry, that equals the exact same money Dame and Ben Simmons would come in, 83.5 to 83.5. I think I would absolutely do this deal to get it done, or take Ben Simmons to get this deal done and get Damian Lillard to the 305. And that's why I want to ask you, do you feel the same way? Would you take Ben Simmons if it meant getting Damian Lillard to the Miami Heat? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know down in the comments section. And make sure you follow me on Twitter too. And another reason why, I'm talking everything Miami Heat. Heat Summer League, Nikola Jovic and Jaime Jaquez Jr. look phenomenal. I'm talking Damian Lillard, more Heat news and rumors. And I actually proposed that Ben Simmons question on my Twitter yesterday at Nic_Rohloff. I got some people down in the comments section creating a nice conversation about if the Heat would take on Ben Simmons, or if you would take on Ben Simmons if it meant getting Damian Lillard. So make sure you give me a follow over there on Twitter. I'll follow you guys back if you follow me from this video. So go give me a follow right now.